All right. You know what?
Oh, look, he's got his mug.
Oh, look, I ordered it myself, Dan. I don't know if you know this, but this. Cheers, sir. Cheers.
Right, can you buy mugs? Like Shannon liked the whole thing where I made it for a left-handed person. Are you left-handed?
No, not at all. But like, I don't know how to. Oh yeah, here we go. Here's some product placement.
The Trump drink.
Hey, watch him with Dan and Tony. Hey, watch him with Dan and Tony. It's like watching, yeah.
Welcome to Hate Watching with Dan and Tony. I'm Dan.
And I'm Tony.
As your host and with Tony as my sidekick, we...
Just for context for everyone out there, last night someone called it my show on accident and Dan got very upset.
Very upset.
So good.
That's so funny. Inside jokes thing you're never supposed to do, and here we are doing one because
we like to start the show off with a bang. Very personal.
To drive people off because so this month we're doing Punish Thy Neighbor, which we kind of did 2 of those, and now we're just kind of doing a couple more movies because
it was much more painful than we had anticipated, I think.
When you really try and find movies that will torment the other person, and you try and find movies that are oblique or just, there's just some movies that are just not going to resonate with one or the other of us. And so we're not going to do that in these last couple movies. And so we sort of came to the consensus as we watch Hook, which we kind of know Tony would like, and we know that I disliked when I first saw it when it came out. So it seemed like a good one.
Spoiler alert, it seems like that stayed true.
Nothing has changed in those opinions.
Nothing at all.
In the ensuing, 30 years. Oh, God, 30 years. How is that possible?
I have no idea.
Wait, Tony, when were you born? Did you see this when you were? Oh, did you see this when you were 6?
Oh, if not 6, very close to that. I don't think we saw it in the theaters, but we definitely bought it when it came out on VHS, as they say.
Oh, okay. So this is a home movie for you. Home.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Big time. We used to watch it. I can remember very clearly. We would watch it in my grandma's house in the basement. She had the biggest TV we'd ever seen. It was probably like 40 inches, probably, and that was like the big box TVs. You can't move them yourself. Anyhow, we would sit down there. We would just watch this movie over and over. This and the Ninja Turtles Easter special. Those are the two VHSs we just wore out over there. Both classics, in my opinion.
Ninja Turtles Easter special.
So good, dude. So good.
I can only imagine what that is. Maybe we should do that one at some point.
Done.
Track that down. Track that gem down. So yes, Hook, 1991, 2 hours and 21 minutes, PG, Steven Spielberg at the helm.
I will say I did not remember it being so long. I don't know when I lost my attention span in my life, but I definitely felt it. I love this movie to death, but it takes a long time for anything to happen. It's a very slow start. As a kid, I must have had endless patience.
Well, I think as kids, I've been watching some Disney movies because I got Disney Plus, so I can watch a few things. And it's the pacing on them is just it is like paint drawing on a lot of the older films, like 60s and 70s films. You're just
yeah.
Oh my God.
And we remember them fondly. As kids, we weren't bothered by that. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, we were watching That Darned Cat, which is about a cat that witnesses a crime and ends up with a jeweled bracelet around his neck. And there's just this whole bit between the 2 criminals that just goes on. You're just what were kids thinking when they're sitting in the theater hearing these criminals talk about their criminality and they've got this woman tied up to a chair? You're just what were we thinking when we watched these movies? We're this is cool because there's going to be a cat.
This is good stuff.
It's going to be funny cat stuff coming. So yes. So Hook. As in preparation of this, I went back and I watched the whole Disney's original animated Peter Pan.
Okay.
I read the plot synopsis of the original Peter Pan play, and then I've watched about half of the movie Pan, which came out in 2015.
You did watch it then? You said you might. I would love to hear your quick thoughts on that.
1,000 times more enjoyable than this movie.
Is it just because of the Nirvana song? Because I remember enjoying that scene a lot.
It's really weird, and
it is really weird.
I actually gotta say I liked it.
I think I did too. I haven't seen it since I believe I saw it in theaters and then bought it the day it came out. I'm pretty sure, but I haven't seen it since.
Yeah, and I really liked the visual effects. I thought the visual effects were beautiful.
Oh, for sure.
And I assume in the theater it must have been amazing. And then I read all the critics stuff, and they're just like, they destroyed this movie.
Yeah.
And then you read about Hook, and they're like, this movie's great. And Hook is just
great. It's great.
Great.
You know what? I would say that it's really good. I don't think that it's great.
Okay.
I think that it's really good. I think if you chop off 30 to 45 minutes, you have a great film.
And I think my initial argument is the reason why I did not like, well, there's two reasons why I did not like this movie. Number one, and probably the main one, is Robin Williams.
Interesting. Okay. I'll bite.
I
would love to discuss this.
Just terrible casting.
Here's the thing, Dan. I don't totally disagree. Because when he's angry dad in the beginning, I actually don't, not only do I not like it, but I don't totally buy it.
Of course you
don't. It's not great. And then he never goes full Robin Williams when he's Peter Pan. So it's not like you're utilizing Robin in the way that you should or could.
And I'm going to immediately bring up the movie that I think this movie is just a ripoff of, a very weak ripoff of, and that is Scrooged.
Okay. So now you're making this difficult for me, because Scrooged is one of my favorite movies of all time.
And why is it one of your favorite movies of all time? It's pretty easy to figure out.
Because it's brilliant, and it would only be better if Robin Williams was in it instead of Bill Murray. I'm kidding. I take that back. That was blasphemy. He's so good in that movie.
And why is he good in that movie? Because he plays an asshole, and he is an asshole. He never lets you know he's Bill Murray. It's not that he
plays an asshole. He's just, my genuine opinion is that's just Bill Murray in that movie. And they were like, let's write a movie for Bill. Let's do that.
Maybe he is that way, but he plays an asshole who is an asshole and doesn't have to wink at you every third scene to tell you that he's good old Robin Williams.
But Scrooge isn't a kid's movie. This is yeah. This is a kid's movie. Come on.
Oh, okay.
I don't know who's it for. That's a real question. I'm not putting you on the spot. I watched it and I was like, I'm not totally sure who this is for.
And I think that's the thing, is I think this movie looked at Scrooge and was like, oh my God, this is great. Look at how they bent this thing and they've made it into an adult dark comedy, right? Mm-hmm. This thing, sort of half of it is acting like that. And then the other half is this terrible kids skateboarding and being rad and saying stupid things.
Why did you say terrible at the start of that? That's the cool part of the movie, Dan. This ragtag of kids who's also very sad. Like, they're all very sad characters. They all get like one moment where they're like, I wish I had parents. And as a kid, I didn't really resonate with that. But as an adult, when I was watching, I was like, oh, this is kind of a bummer. They all really want parents. They're not necessarily there because they don't want parents. They're there. A lot of them are there because they're literally lost boys.
Oh,
as opposed to like running away. I don't know. It was darker than I remember.
And I think that's my main issue, is it's not a kid's movie and it's not the adult movie. It's this weird thing in the middle that is very gloopy. And
Here's what I'll say in response to that. I don't have a real defense of that. I can only tell you that as a child, this movie, I believe, had more of an effect on me than I even realized. Because my entire life belief system is built around this movie. About if you grow up and become responsible, you'll become an asshole. And I was, as we were watching, I was like, shit. I think this literally guided my entire life, where I saw Robin Williams, who is this, as a kid, I was like, he's the funniest guy I've ever seen in my life. He's so fun. But look at him when he's an adult. He's such a jerk. I don't ever want to do that. I don't want to get a job. I don't want to have responsibilities. I just want to be a boy all the time because look how funny he is when he's not that. And I don't think I realized this, but I think this really guided my life because you look at this movie and then you look at like the parallels to your own life, maybe just throwing this out here, where maybe your father is similar to Robin Williams in the beginning, and you're like, all adults are like this. And then maybe you have a mom, Dan, maybe, that is the antithesis of that. And constantly she is being told that she has to grow up and be a real adult by the father figure. And so as a kid, I think I made all these parallels to my real life. And I was like, that's it. I'm never growing up. I'm never doing it because there's no way to grow up and be a good person. And so I raged against that for, I don't know, how old am I? 35? 35 years. All because of this Robin Williams gem.
And you're still ready to go right back into being a child again, aren't you?
100%. 100%. I think this movie gave me Arrested Development.
I guess the question is, does this trigger anything new in you, or are you about to sell all the Game Boys and sell all the
no, because I watched this movie and I was immediately like, yep, this affirms all of my beliefs once again. I'm hook, line, and sinker.
You have become unhappy Robin Williams for the past few years.
Exactly. And it's like, you know what? I finally became what I hated, and now it's time to backtrack. We got to revert back to a childlike state. That's where I'm at. Cheers, everybody.
Wow, this movie midlife Tony. Wow. Okay.
Or like end of my life.
Yeah, so I think my main issue is Robin Williams, the casting of Robin Williams, because you can't make him in, they have flashes of him being this asshole guy, but then he's right back making earnest promises that don't feel like they're bullshit earnest promises. They feel like he really means them. And so you're like, well, who is this guy? Why is he like that? And through the movie, we sort of find, he is Peter Pan, and he's supposed to be sort of immutable, right? Peter Pan as a character is this puckish prankster character, right? Who doesn't want to grow up. And so I always think that should be like a switch, right? He should either be Pan or he should be adult. And he can't sort of be in this middle. And my other big issue with Robin Williams is he's not a movement person. He's very heavy in the chest. Yeah. And he's an awkward mover. And the idea that Peter Pan grows up to be an awkward mover, just when you watch the original animated one, the flying and all that is
so
just
fluid.
It's a ballet.
Yeah.
And when they put him on wire works and have him fly around, I never bought it at
very
all.
stiff. Yeah. No, yeah. I can't really argue either of those things that you just said to me.
And once again, and the whole comedy coming from making lawyer jokes and
I was the one that gets me is when they're like, kill the lawyer. I'm not that kind of lawyer. That was a good one. You don't remember that?
No, I remember it. I'm just trying to think why it didn't. Because he also does that Robin Williams scattershot thing where he never lives in a joke. You just did that joke, and I really enjoyed it. I'm not that kind of lawyer. And Robin Williams would then do 6 more gags, and it would just be a lost joke. And his delivery like that. I mean, I was talking to Shannon, and I was like, "What is his best comedic performance?" And she's like, "Aladdin."
I mean, that's 100%.
Which I think maybe everyone, most people agree on that. And it's like when I watch that performance, it's a string of gags. It's like gag, gag, gag,
Yes.
gag, 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 and they're all very humorous and they all are poignant and are very nicely attacked. But this is not I don't care about the genie.
Well, that's why you can't. Oh, well, first of all, Dan, if you don't get a little misty when those chains fall off at the end of Aladdin, then you're broken inside because it's amazing.
I'm going to have to rewatch Aladdin.
But I will say that's why you don't do a movie about the genie, because he can't be the focus. He has to be the ancillary character that's like providing the color commentary.
Yep. He's a comment. He's not a central character that's going to go through something. And like sort of my final point on the whole sort of Pan thing is the reverse thing doesn't really work. You can't go from being an adult to being a kid again. And they
talk to me in about a week, Dan, because that's the new game plan. So I'll let you know how
you're
it goes.
You're not doing something bad, Tony, are you? This did not give you some terrible idea. Like to quit your job or something.
Oh, no. I need the job to pay for the house.
House?
Okay, apartment. Dan, why are you calling me out on the podcast? I want people to think I'm successful.
Oh, God. I thought you were going to buy a house. I'm like, you're going to buy a house in this
market? I would
love
to buy a house, but in this market?
I don't know anything about the market.
Neither do I. I think it's a real buyer's market right now.
Okay, so we've spent an hour talking about Robin Williams. Now we're going to get to the movie. So basically, he's a lawyer. He's an asshole. He misses the son's big game.
This is something that I actually strongly dislike. I feel like this happened a lot in 90s movies. I don't know if it still happens today, but when the dad misses the big game and then shows up at the field after everyone's gone, it's so stupid. You know what time the game was, about how long a game takes. Why are you still going there? Like that's...
And he has a cell phone, and that's like they do like a big cell phone showdown gag.
The dance, the pull the cell phones. Great stuff.
Really stupid. And so then they get on a plane, and they do a really interesting thing in this movie. So he misses the game, and then we immediately cut, and they're on an airplane with the entire family.
Going on vacation.
None of this has been addressed, that he missed that big game, There's a huge scene in him showing up at home, and we're going to find out how things roll.
100%. Yeah, no. We'll talk about it tomorrow, maybe. Probably not.
And so the kid draws a picture of the plane crashing, and dad doesn't get a parachute. Dad falls to his death.
Yeah. It's pretty intense stuff.
And then we sort of do a whole thing where he's scared of flying or dying or heights or something.
Yeah, yeah.
So, yeah, stop acting like a child. So, they get where they're going, and the kid does something, and he screams at him, and then there's a phone bit, more business, blah, blah. Lots of yelling.
Really skating over some real character development, but that's fine.
Was it? I mean, he's an asshole.
Yeah. He's an asshole.
Why the wife loves him, I have no idea.
Why does she whisper all of her lines? They're all mysteries, Stan.
Does she really whisper all the lines?
She does this weird breathy whisper for everything she says. Peter, you're missing it. Peter. It's just like, what is happening? She's not even a human right now. It's fine though.
So Grandma Wendy tells him that he's now a pirate because he's a lawyer, and you're kind of like, you just figured that out?
Well, it's been 10 years. They haven't seen each other in 10 years.
They haven't seen each other, but I have a feeling that she has an idea of what he does with his life.
No, because those cell phones are just for show. They don't contact each other at all, Dan. Don't worry.
There's something about that's the big conflict is they find an owl on the land that they want to develop on, $5 billion. They
kept saying the words, the big deal, and I couldn't stop laughing. They gave us no information other than there's an owl and he's going to ruin the big deal. It's the big deal. I thought we had the big deal. It was so bad. It was so bad.
So Sweet orphan stuff. I don't know what that's about. Oh, the dedication. So they do the dedication, and then so Grandma Wendy was taking care of lost boys because they're opening this home,
Mm-hmm.
and there's sort of an implication about the lost boys. I don't know. Big wind.
It was a nice moment though, like when all the people like stand up and he's like, I guess we do have something in common. We're all orphans. It's a great moment.
It's beautiful.
It doesn't lead to anything.
No.
There's not, and it doesn't like come back at all to this opening of this. I don't know. I don't understand it.
And we never really address the idea of the lost boys. And I'll go back to that movie Pan. Pan sets up very specifically why there are these lost boys in Neverland, and in a really interesting, novel way that you're like, oh, okay. As opposed to this thing where basically the idea is kids in Kensington Park that just wander off from their parents become lost boys.
Yeah, because Robin just like rolled away from the wind.
and literally there's a line in there where he says, I wandered away. As
right,
if
but he was a baby.
He was literally a baby. He wasn't a child. He wasn't not getting candy, and so he gets pissed off and leaves, F's off. No, he just blows away and then laying in the garden, and then he gets sucked away to Neverland. And it's like, these are the things that when you're doing a movie that's both a kid's movie and a sort of adult movie, you can address in some way. Give us something.
Yeah.
But they give us a weird flashback that makes no sense. So Captain Hook somehow figures out that Peter's there, and he comes to the house and he steals his 2 children.
Yeah. Now the movie begins. Almost.
So how does Hook just come to our world and steal people and have information?
Spies? I don't know. I'm just throwing things out. I feel like spies is good.
Spies.
Written correspondence, maybe. Message in a bottle. There it is. So these pirates have come to our land, and they have been spying with their eyeglasses, and they're like, oh, he's got kids, and then they just message in a bottle to Neverland. Easy peasy.
They spy with their eyeglasses?
Spyglass? Is that what it's called? I think it's a spyglass.
Spyglass. No, eyeglass. These are eyeglasses.
Those are the eyeglasses. What is this? Bionicle? That's not right either.
What is it, Tony? It's called
a monocle.
Monocle. What does bi mean?
It means 2.
2.
So you're wearing bionicles.
I'm wearing bionicles. Jesus Christ. So he calls the police. The police come, and we do a whole thing where their neighbor was J.M. Barrie, who wrote the Peter Pan story, and blah 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 blah.
Yeah, all of that was like, I don't know. 80 years ago, he wrote down my story. Was Maggie Smith always old?
I was amazed at how old she was in this. Yeah, I was. I mean, how is she still alive? She was like, she was 90 when she was 30. I don't know.
Right. It was when she came on screen, I was like, I am confused on when this movie was made because she already looks 100 years old.
So then Tinkerbell shows up, and I kind of liked what's her name is Tinkerbell, Julia Roberts.
Oh, Dan. Yes.
Oh, you liked her?
Young Tony liked her a good deal. She was she was. I won't go into detail. I'm just saying, she was one of my very, very first sexual awakenings. We'll leave it at that. But her character is fairly sexually charged. If you didn't notice,
comes down, has to clean off that very large TV.
On the TV. Anyhow.
Yeah. And the other thing is, in the original Disney Peter Pan animated movie, if you go back and watch that, Tinkerbell is so hot. It's unbelievable how hot she is, and they are constantly showing her underwear.
Yep. It's awesome.
It's really weird.
No, it's awesome, Dan.
It's awesome, but it's weird. So, do they have like a big fight? Do they fight and she knocks him out? Why? I don't really.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's like an 8-minute scene, I think, where he's like, bug. Although this was one of my very first big laughs of the movie, is when she first comes and he goes, "It's a firefly from hell." Great line.
Yeah, that was a good one.
That is a good one, but then there's like 9 more bug jokes that don't land throughout the scene, and then he flicks her into a little dollhouse, and then she's like in the I don't know, it's great.
And then he cares about her. Once he flicks her in the dollhouse, then he's like, "Oh, now I care," and he's very careful to try to see she's okay.
You're mean until you hurt. It's funny until someone gets hurt. That's the golden rule, Dan. So when he thinks that she's dead, he gets worried.
So she like knocks him out, then she wraps him in a carpet and flies him to Neverland.
And then carries him. She's so strong.
So strong.
It's awesome.
And I really like the John Williams music of her carrying him to Neverland.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
And now I'm going to make the next most important point of the entire thing. Peter Pan movies are about that transition from our world to Neverland. And to have your primary character be carried in a blanket and have no effect and have no connection to any of this is terrible.
Okay.
It's just like you have lost one of the absolute most magical moments of the entire movie by doing this.
I will agree. I can totally buy that. But Dan, the first time we see as the viewer Neverland with the pirate ships and all these people, it's great. That set is a 12 out of 10.
You like the pirate town and pirate ship set?
Oh my God, yeah, I love it. I want to live there.
Tony wants to live there. So, so he wakes up and they're in Pirate Town, and then there's one big stupid fight, and then he gets in disguise, and then he sneaks on board the pirate ship and sees that his kids are captured by Hook.
Yeah, and now officially the movie begins. When Dustin Hoffman, actually, when Shmi starts talking for the first time, I think that's when this movie is like, okay, this should be minute 6. You should have like a couple of minutes up top, and then we just go right here, and we start this movie on the right trajectory. Because as soon as they make their entrance, I'm having a great time for like 80% of the rest of the movie.
And I can really see that. It would be a very different movie if you just had Peter Pan forget he's Peter Pan. You didn't make him an asshole. You just, and that's the whole thing. Is let's look at it. Let's examine this movie. If that was what happened, is we started out. They've come to England. He's just a normal adult, right? Yep. He's an adult. He's not an asshole. He's an adult, and the kids are kidnapped by Hook. And he, Tinkerbell comes to bring him to save the kids. And we don't set up all this assholeness. And then he's thrown into this other... He's like, she doesn't knock him out. She drags him into the air. And he has this effect of he's just like, I'm Peter Pan. And he accepts that he might be Peter Pan. But he has to spend this time coming to understand that. Yeah, coming to terms with that. And saying... I'm this fictional thing, as opposed to I'm a giant asshole, and then we have to do all this weird setup to try to do this stuff.
There's a lot of setup.
So give me some of the lines. So Hook, why do you like Dustin Hoffman as Hook?
Other than the fact that it's one of the greatest performances of all time, it's also a good rendition of Hook in my opinion, because I love this over dramatic like guy, because he's been doing it for so long, and he's just like, I've done everything that needs to be done, and now I'm kind of bored. That's what I get out of him. He's a little bored, so he's trying to mix things up, and I just I can relate to that. I can.
Okay.
And also he's just superb. like the delivery, and I love his teeth. Like I don't even know how he does it, but he always has his two teeth like out above the lip when he's talking, and it's so good, Shmee, so good. Like I love it. He's brilliant. He's brilliant.
So basically, Robin Williams gets exposed. He's like, "Those are my kids," and then he does a bunch of attorney jokes. Pulls out his checkbook, which I'm sure Tony found funny.
I did. It did. Yeah. Draw you a weapon. Takes out a pen. That's great. That's hilarious. That is an adult reaction to that question.
To that situation. Even though they just tried to get killed, and then they sort of beat all those guys, and then he somehow got in a disguise. And
Yeah. That all makes perfect sense.
So basically, he climbs up there and he tries to reach the kids, and he isn't able to reach the kids.
This didn't touch you at all when the kid when Jack is like looking at his dad and he's like, "Please don't give up," and he does? Oh, that's a moment, Dan. That gets me every time. Ooh.
So you have a lot of really deep hook in you. The hook is in.
The hook is hooked.
Right in Tony's heart.
Yeah, man. That's a touching moment. And not in a good, it's a sad moment.
So Hook says, "Okay, I'm going to give you 3 days to become Peter Pan because I want an actual war. I don't want to just kill you and then kill these kids. And we need some way to continue this on." So does he jump over he ends up in the water.
Somebody acts. It's similar to Pirates of the Caribbean, where they hit what's the board called? The plank. Walk the plank. Like someone just accidentally, when they're cheering, kicks it, and he tumbles off into the water. It's a funny moment.
And so this is our one shot with the mermaids, who looked fake and terrible, like they were in just a pool. They were not attractive. They were not enjoyable.
Whoa, Dan! No! That's wrong. You're wrong. You're wrong. They're very attractive. It's amazing.
Super appealing.
Another huge moment from my adolescence, right there. Don't ruin that.
Jesus, that poor TV. So he goes down there, and then they start giving him breath for some unknowable reason, and then they just
he can stay alive.
They just sort of magically transport him all the way across the island.
Sure.
In a way that we do not see, we do not experience. Yeah. And then he gets to the stupid tree where the kids all live, and Tinkerbell is there asleep.
Yeah, she's just hanging out. She had a tough day. She had to do that fight earlier. And then she thought she lost Peter, so she's like, "Well, I'm sad and tired. I'm gonna go recharge." I totally get it.
There it is. So, I guess he wakes up, and then he walks around this stupid place, and there's like penguins. There's like a snow part, and then we see the first of the stupid skate ramp. And then
you don't like the skate ramp?
It's a basketball court.
Everything that a kid wants in their cool hangout. Absolutely.
See, I think this is just your fantasy wish fulfillment. You just want to have like this.
Yes.
This you don't care that this tree just looks like it was built on some shitty backlot. You're like, whatever. You know,
as a kid, when you see this, Dan, you're like, "Dad, go out in the backyard and build me this shit right now. This is the coolest thing I've ever seen. I want to go from my window in my bedroom, wake up in the morning, jump on my cool skateboard / surfboard thing, go down a ramp into like my tree house, and then have a half pipe that I can ride." That's what you want, man. You want all of those things desperately.
Don't forget the basketball hoop where you're dunking while you're skating.
Well, yeah, because we can't dunk. We're kids. We don't have the ups to get to the rim, so you got to use the curvature of the ramp to get the speed and the momentum, and then you dunk it and you feel like a badass.
So bad. Oh my god. And so then Rufio shows up on the on the skate thing, and it has like a wind sail and doesn't
what you
look
don't
like it.
totally realize, I think, as a kid, at least I didn't, is that there's very clearly a track in the middle of the ramp that you have to like. So it's not like he's skating, he's really just riding it on a track, which is less cool than I remember, but still cool.
So Rufio shows up, and he's got the torn up pants and the feathered hair, and then Robin Williams is peppering him with insurance jokes.
Rufio! Oh, great moment.
And now we get to one of the lines I found kind of interesting, which sort of sets up another dynamic of why this movie's really stupid.
Oh, not where I thought you were going.
They say, all grown-ups are pirates. We kill
pirates. Yeah.
So do you take that at face value? They kill pirates? These kids, these bloodthirsty 100%. Kids are literally murdering the pirates.
Without a doubt. Yeah.
And these kids are getting murdered back by the pirates.
Yes.
And
yes,
you thought that was cool as a kid?
It's awesome, man, because how else are you going to defeat the adults, the negative adults in your life? You just got to kill them. Gotta kill That's the only answer.
Now's the point at which they shoot candy apple arrows into Robin Williams' crotch.
And then he does the high voice. Great joke. Crushed me. Oh! So good.
Then they try and skate ramp him to death. Then they try and breakdance him to death. Then they try and basketball him to death.
Yeah.
Now we have like one of the other few scenes. There's like about 5 things in this movie I liked. We have the scene with the little kid. The little kid, for a movie like this, the little kid goes over there and finds Peter in him. And it's this beautiful...
Oh, there you are, Peter.
Very emotional scene. Beautifully silent. Just a silent scene.
And that kid is good.
Kid is great.
Yeah.
Like way better, I think, than any of the other kids.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
And it was this beautiful scene, and it's silent, and you're just like, boom. And then they start with all the weird noise again, and whatever emotion you were feeling just gets washed away.
You don't like the crowing?
There's only one thing I hated more than the crowing.
Was it? It's not Bangarang.
You got it. That is
Dan.
Literally, what is Bangarang?
It's cool. Bangarang is good. That's all you need to know. That's Bangarang, man. You got to be Bangarang. Bangarang. Oh, we used to say it all the time, man. All the time.
You guys went to school and you said Bangarang.
Oh, you don't do it at school. What are you, a nerd? No, you do it in the backyard with your friends.
So you and your friends would be in the backyard yelling Bangarang at each other as you'd like swing on the tire swing or something?
We didn't have a tire swing. I wish we did. We didn't have a tree to like, anyhow. We did have a swing set though that you could climb on, and there was like a little clubhouse up top. Yeah, man. Bangarang.
You would literally stand up in that clubhouse, lean out and yell Bangarang to your friends, and your friends would be like, Tony's so cool.
Yeah, well, they don't. I assume that's what they thought. They didn't say it out loud, but they would yell Bangarang back. So that's affirmation, I believe.
And how long did this Bangarang go on?
Like back and forth, Bangarang, Bangarang, Bangarang?
No, I mean
just
for the
call
next...
and answer. You say it once. I say Bangarang, you yell Bangarang. You know what I mean?
6 months after, were you still Bangaranging? Or did everybody continue to Bangarang? Or did it like fade out through the years?
Did everyone continue to Bangarang? That's a great sentence. I don't know, because time is weird when you're a kid. I assume at the time it probably felt like forever, but it was probably 2 weeks. I don't know. Okay. But I'll tell you right now that I had the sword as a toy, the plastic Peter Pan gold sword. Oh, fuck yeah, dude. I had that.
So you literally went and bought Hook toys at the Toys R Us.
Oh yeah, big time. We also bought the action figures because they had a Hook action figure, which was pretty cool.
So you had the toys. Okay, they made toys of this stupid movie. Who knew? Who cares? No one cares. So we sort of go back and forth. Okay, so yes, we go back and forth, and then they decide to give him a chance. We do a whole line thing where, dun, 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 dun. Now we're gonna get to one of the scenes that Tony loved. Is Hook is doing his thing. I hate Peter Pan, and then he has a vision, and then he does the whole kill himself.
An apostrophe. You don't like that line from Shmi?
I don't remember it.
Well, it doesn't matter. So Hook's like, Shmi, I've had an epiphany. And then later, Shmi goes, sir, I think I've just had an apostrophe. It's a great... I don't like your negativity. But yeah, the suicide scene is great. And that's a weird thing to say, obviously. But I love it because he's being dramatic for dramatic's sake. And that gets me as a quote unquote actor who probably went through a lot of things like that and still does, where I'm like, wah, poor me, someone pay attention to me. I just like that they verbalize it. Shmi, don't try to stop me, Shmi, try to stop me right now, Shmi. Like it's great. It's great.
Now, did you find that Spielberg's direction of these comedic situations was up to snuff?
His direction, I don't think that it exists. So here's what I wanted to do this morning, but I woke up too late. I wanted to look at a list of Spielberg movies because I don't think I like many of them. I really don't. I like Jaws and I like Hook. Those are the two that I remember.
Yeah.
I might do that while you're talking in your next segment. But okay. The only reason it works for me is Huffman. I think he's so on point in this movie that he's able to battle through all the bullshit that everyone else seems kind of bogged down with.
So you think he got into these comedic scenes and sort of dug into these lines and got where you needed to be, and so you're able to enjoy the lines? Okay, that's okay.
So were you not a fan of Huffman in this movie?
No, I didn't do anything for me. Then just sort of bounced off me. Wow. Because I really felt like it existed, like I said before, as this in between being a dark look at it and a kid's movie. And I mean, I think he was giving enough of this sort of darkness that you could have worked with it.
Mm-hmm.
But he didn't force it. He didn't like go, okay, I'm going to make this dark and you're going to have to live with it. I feel like he picked a middle path that sort of satisfied both things. And sure. So you as a kid liked it because there was an amount of adult darkness in there, but it wasn't so much that it was an adult movie where kids are going to be like, oh my God, what the hell is happening here?
Or like scary.
Yeah. Yeah. So he never was scary. Hook never was scary. You never really felt anything like that.
No, I root for him, if I'm being honest.
You root for Hook?
Yeah, a little bit.
Over Peter? Or just
100% over Peter? Because I as a kid, I'm sure I didn't. But as an adult, I didn't care for Peter Pan that much in this movie, on this watching. I think I would much rather see a Hook movie with Dustin Hoffman as the centerpiece. I would much rather see his midlife crisis than Peter's midlife crisis.
And there you have it. That's also an interesting movie. That's a movie that I think you could sort of, and I think you're right. I think Hoffman saw that and was trying to do that as much as he could within the parameters of this being a Spielberg Hollywood blockbuster that has to be, PG and has to, pass all these censor things and cannot, whatever.
Like the Death is the Only Adventure I Have Left, again, made a big imprint on me. Like that's.
Does he say that at one point?
Yeah, they say things like that a couple times, but in the suicide scene, that's what he's saying. He's like, "Death is the only adventure I have left, Shmi." And then later, in the final fight, Hook says something about Peter Pan dying, and Peter Pan is like, "To die would be a great adventure." There's like these really nice moments that I like I don't know.
Because that's a Peter Pan play line. That's what that line is. It's a Peter Pan. It's a Peter Pan line. It's not a Hook
Interesting.
line.
Okay.
It's like I think Peter Pan gets poisoned and he almost is going to just let himself die. And he's all like, "That's one great adventure I haven't done yet." And then everybody sort of has to convince him not to just die.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So sort of flipping that over onto Hook makes sort of maybe this movie could have been about the ennui of Hook and being trapped in this sort of internal.
I would have liked that.
Yeah, but that's not what this movie really
But it's
did.
it's not quite that.
So Shmi comes up with the idea of making his kids love him, making Peter Pan's kids love Hook as
Time out, Dan. I just want to go back real quickly and amend my statement. I also like Jurassic Park. That's the other Spielberg movie that I adore.
I haven't watched that first one in a long time. I enjoyed it when it came out, and I think there was some good emotional, content in that movie. So now we have.
I'm sorry. We can come back to this now.
Big workout song, montage. Right, they're trying to get him in shape, I think.
Yeah, and there's happens. Like a semi-fun like song that they're singing about sweating and losing weight, and I don't know. Obviously, it didn't work on me.
So now we have the big baseball game.
Ah, yes.
A scene I did not understand at all.
What do you mean?
Well, he's watching. So Hook sets up this baseball game.
Yeah.
Peter's kid plays in the baseball game, and Hook is getting his things in there. The kids want him to come in there and steal Hook's hook, and he's 1 inch away from it. And then he starts sort of getting involved in the game, and then do they just creep off at the end of the game? Is that what happens?
So, hold on. Peter gets sucked into the game because it's Jack's baseball game. And for all we know, this is the first time he's actually seen Jack play baseball. Who knows? Because, he's an absentee father, yada, yada, yada. And again, Hook has some great jokes in this scene. That's what I remember from it. A violent sport, baseball. Hilarious, because they shoot the guy stealing second. Oh my God, that's a great bit.
Oh, you love that bit, didn't you?
Great bit. He's stealing second. Just fucking shoots him and he's dead. That's hilarious.
And so there's no resolve. The only plot point that's moved forward is that the kid is now more affiliated with Hook, and
he likes Hook. Hook's filling in his daddy role.
Yeah. So now we get food, wonderful food.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I have a question. I feel like they answer this, but I just want to make sure that I'm on the right page. This is not what they eat every day, right?
It is what they eat every day.
So they're not eating anything? Are these kids just starving? Are they dying?
No, this is Neverland. And I mean, that's sort of the one conceit that's sort of interesting here is that we sort of set up that so the kids are all like acting like they're eating, doing very bad space work and very bad fake eating.
Yeah.
It's hard. Then they're like, "Oh, what?"
I said it's hard, Dan. All right. Don't be mean.
You wouldn't want to rehearse this and make it look like a real thing. You just say, "Kids, just sort of act like go like this." No,
I trust that you've eaten before. Just go for it.
Realism, whatever. Who cares? It's just a stupid scene in a stupid movie.
Whoa.
So the idea is if they believe it, then it's real, which of course is, once again, you could just be making yourself swords. You could do all sorts of things, and you could just imagine a cannon and shoot a person to kill them, whatever. But that's trying to examine the magic of this world because
you don't want to do that, Dan.
They don't want to set up the whole idea that these kids might actually have to do something. But I mean, that's the whole thing with Neverland is you don't really have to do anything. You just march around like little idiots
and have a good time
and live Tony's dream.
Amen to that. Also, there's a great joke in this scene, Dan. Are we going to skate over it?
So
when they're doing the insults,
we're going to get to the insults.
Okay, all right. I'll stand by.
they do a Gandhi joke, and then they start with the insults. And I'm sure I wrote this down because I'm sure Tony loved this. Hemorrhoidal suck navel.
Oh. No, that one's scary. That one's gross. Did you write down any other ones?
Eat me. Peter Pan envy. I'm a lawyer.
Sure. I'm a lawyer. Great.
Using your imagination. And I also remarked that the food all looked like food from Troll 2.
So hold on. You.
Oh, maybe that stuff all happened
That's
before
funny.
the big insult. Because the insult thing happened after he ate, I think, didn't it?
No, the insult thing is when he gains his imagination, when he flicks his spoon at Rufio and all of a sudden there's food on it. That's when he finally sees it.
And Rufio's pissed.
Yeah, well, he's sad because he was given the keys to the kingdom and now they're being taken back. He's losing his responsibility. But the joke that I like, Dan, is nearsighted gynecologist. That's one that Robin Williams sends at Rufio, and that's a good one.
You mean like he's sticking his head up in women's private parts?
I mean, I guess
that's funny to you,
like,
Tony?
That's what I get out of it. And I was like, when I heard it as an adult just yesterday, I was like, whoa, can you say that? How did that get past all these people in the studio? Pretty
it's
wild stuff.
Hemorrhoidal suck navel.
Yeah.
I really dislike that whole thing. And that sort of leads into Bangarang and the crowing and just like...
And then, yeah, that's when it redeems it. Bangarang.
It's when Bangarang just comes around.
Saves the scene. If you're ever having a rough scene, you just say Bangarang and then everyone's excited again.
And somebody throws a coconut, I think, at Peter, and Peter has a sword and he cuts the coconut in half.
Well, of course, Rufio throws the coconut because he's jealous and bitter, so he's trying to hurt him. But no, not today. Peter Pan's back, bitch. And he slices it.
So Peter Pan is back. And then his little girl sings, and he doesn't go fly to her or save her or do anything.
But he hears it. I don't know, man.
Now we do a whole scene with Hook in the store of broken clocks.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's not the best Hook scene, I'll be honest.
Oh, whoops, I blew it. Now's the time where we have the baseball game. What did I say?
Is it?
Oh, yeah, now's the pirate baseball game.
You're the plot guy. I just follow along.
Yeah, Jack gets a home run, he hits it, and then Peter runs away. And then they're back there, and he's trying to figure out how to fly. He gets hit in the head by the baseball. Then he sees himself as Peter Pan in a reflection. Then he finds the secret tree button. And then Tink turns into full-size Tink in the beautiful dress.
Yeah. And that's the moment, Dan.
And then they kiss.
That's the moment where it's like, oh, I love her.
Oh, that's where you fell in love with Julia Roberts in that big silver dress?
It's the only movie I've ever seen where I found Julia Roberts attractive. Really? To this day. Yeah.
Interesting.
I don't know. It's the character. So let's just talk. I just want to say one thing about learning to fly is that it took him 3 full days, Dan, to realize that his happy moment was the birth of his children.
And that's
a little fucked up.
What?
I said that's a little fucked up.
And that was the whole thing. It's like this. We've seen the way they play this guy is he's not miserable. So he doesn't hate his kids. So I mean, my little daughter singing that beautiful song that would have done it for me.
Yeah, you should be levitating on that. And just be like, oh, well, there you go. I figured it out.
Yeah, but they have to do a secret chamber and Tink in the dress. And then we do the whole sort of baby runs away. And then we have 19-year-old Gwyneth Paltrow as young Wendy.
Oh, right. That's right. That is who that was. Yeah. I just watched her the other day in Iron Man.
Yeah.
Great movie.
And then we get this whole thing. Now we sort of set up. Oh no! This is when he flies after all this. And then, because he remembers getting lost in the gardens, then he remembers Gwyneth Paltrow's young Wendy, and then we do this whole thing where the kids age out, right?
Yeah.
You know, they get too old, and then he comes, and then Moira, the granddaughter, he falls in love with her, and he's doing this all in front of Tinkerbell, who's in love with him.
And while Moira is sleeping. Very weird.
All super freaking creepy. And then he finally realizes that he has happy memories, and I wrote, ugh. And this whole thing is like Tinkerbell loves him.
Yep.
And then Wendy loved him, and I think Wendy's daughter, and then this is like the granddaughter. So like
everybody loves Peter Pan. He's such a fun guy.
And then Moira ends up with Peter, piece of shit.
Yeah.
So it's like really weird. And it's pretty interesting when you watch the original 50s animated Peter Pan. He brings her there to be the mother of the kids. He doesn't bring her there as his girlfriend.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, that's the whole setup, is he listens to her telling the stories about him because he's so, you know, he's a sociopath. And, or at least a narcissist, sorry.
Sure.
Probably narcissistic sociopath. Personality disorder. We're going to diagnose him.
Dr. Dan.
Dr. Dan on the case. So they very distinctly make her more of a mother figure and not someone you want to have sex with or make out with.
That's probably
or be part of, because Peter Pan is this sort of archetypal spirit of freedom. Once you make it a thing where it's like, oh, Peter Pan's my boyfriend, it just gets really weird.
My boyfriend. Yes. No, I mean, it's definitely weird. It's definitely weird. It's also weird, as much as I love Maggie, like when she's in bed with Robin Williams and she's like touching his face, like she still wants him. But she's married to her, whatever, daughter, granddaughter, whatever it is. Granddaughter, I think. Like, it's all pretty weird. It's all pretty weird.
It's super weird. And, you know, and poor Tinkerbell, like, they don't give her anything.
The best one. I mean, not to be mean to anybody, but she's, you know, she's up here in a class all her own, and these other regular women are, get him out of here. Tink.
And he doesn't fall in love with Moira because of her great personality or anything. He just falls in love with her because she's just laying there.
When you say it like that, it's even creepier.
So so he realizes his special moment is Jack being born as opposed to the daughter being born. Wow, sexism. And then we have all this wire work flying and all this Newsies kind of fly jinx.
Yeah.
And then we see what I thought was going to be the really interesting point is Rufio is pissed. He's pissed. He's just like, Peter Pan is back. I'm number 2 or whatever, out of the business. And I'm like, oh, here comes the twist. Rufio is going to betray Peter Pan.
Dan, that's a great move. Yeah, that would have been good.
Didn't you see that? I mean, didn't you think that was what was being telegraphed?
I can't tell you that I felt that way because I know the movie so intimately that I can't. You know what I mean?
You can't get beyond it. Yeah.
The nostalgia is real strong with this one. But when now hearing it out loud from you, I love that twist. And it's very Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. Christian Slater's character turns on. It doesn't matter. But I like it. I'm saying. I like your idea.
Oh, wait. No. Oh, Tink hasn't kissed him yet. She kisses him in this next thing. So Tink is sad inside a clock. And he now has, since he has become Peter Pan, he's forgotten his kids.
But it happens so quickly, like the back and forth. But I didn't like it. I feel like there must have been some deleted scenes where we get that information a little bit earlier, because all of a sudden he's just at the clock and he's like, I have kids?
And so you're like, wait, you're the magic that makes you fly, remembering your child being born, is a thing you don't remember. You know, it's like there's something missing in these two disparate elements.
Yeah, for sure.
So, this is when she turns into the full-size girl wearing the dress. She wants to kiss him. She says, "I love you." And then he says, "I love Moira, Jack, and Maggie." And basically, shits on her.
Yeah, again. Ugh. Heartbreaking. Tink, if you're out there, give me a call.
I mean, Julia Roberts.
No, not Julia Roberts. Ugh,
you should
Tink. Just Tink, man.
This little tiny woman you can keep in a clock.
Because what?
Good show, Tony.
Oh, boy.
Now we set up the kids and their incredibly stupid guns and armor.
Yeah, as a kid, I thought it was really cool. Like when they jump through the, I don't know, is it bamboo? I don't even know what it is. But like, that's fun. It doesn't make any sense, but it was fun. As an adult, I didn't care for this whole scene. What a stupid idea.
So we're going to go to, God, how do we have 2 more pages of this?
Because this movie's really long.
Yeah. So they go and we're on the ship. Jack has become a mini Hook. And then we just start to fight and fight and fight and fight. The fat kid turns into a ball.
Yeah. Yeah. Which is,
how did you feel about that, Tony? Again,
I remember as a kid thinking it was hilarious. As an adult, it's very weird and not right because his body it's no longer proportional. Like his legs would be bent over 90 degrees reverse. It doesn't make any sense and it didn't look good.
But as a kid, did you want to be able to turn into a ball and roll around and attack people?
I would say there's a good chance that I tried. I probably went on a slide and like tucked my legs and tried to roll down, probably fell off like an idiot.
So Rufio's off fighting Hook, and then Jack comes out of it, and then all the pirates just sort of give up at one point for, I don't even remember why they just all gave up.
Sure.
Then we do looky, looky, I got hooky.
Great line.
And then Hook just kills Rufio. Right?
Yes. No, 100% right.
Nobody cares about Rufio getting killed, right?
Here's the thing. Again, and I just keep saying this over and over, and I apologize, but as a kid, that was a real visceral moment. And I was, you're shocked and you're upset. But the movie's not. The movie doesn't feel those things at all. They live in that moment for 3-4 seconds. And then not only...
I don't believe they lived in it for 4 seconds.
You don't think it was even that long? I don't know.
Maybe 1 second.
Because you stab, he lays there. Peter's like, "Oh, I'm mad," but then immediately leaves. And nobody's upset. Like, I was shocked when I watched this last night. I was blown away because I remember it so well from when I was a kid that was such a big moment. And it's not. Peter Pan immediately is like, you know what? Don't worry about a Hook. I'm a peace out with my kids. I got what I came for. Fuck this kid that's dead. Killed himself for me. I don't even care. I'm just going to take my kids and run. What? Are you kidding me? Some bullshit.
Yeah, it was weird.
Super weird. I don't like it at all.
I don't even know whatever happens. Then something about I believe in you, and Tinkerbell does something, and then there's clocks. He is old. Give me my... he starts crying, and then the big gator falls on him.
Yeah, that didn't hold up.
because they didn't want to have him get killed.
Yeah.
He can kill a person, but we have to just have some random incidents kill him.
And the gator comes alive for a second or something because they stab it. And this green smoke comes out, and then it opens its mouth, and then falls on Hook, and then burps. But then is immediately an inanimate object again, or a dead object, I guess. I didn't understand it at all.
Now, did they set up that crocodile clock at some other point in this movie that I just missed?
I mean, that's the crocodile that ate his hand, and then he turns it into a clock.
was there another scene where you saw this and you were like, oh, look, there's a clock made out of the crocodile that ate his hand?
Yes, in the 50s version of Peter Pan, I believe, is where they set that up. I have no idea. But not in this movie. But they talk about
Not
it.
in this movie.
He says one line where he's like, I turned it into a clock or something, you know?
But we never have a shot where he like, when we go to the clock shop where he opens the window and he points to this thing and says, there it is, this gigantic prop we've built that literally is going to kill the main character. We don't set that up at all.
Yeah, I don't remember it happening, no. Use your imagination, Dan. This is Neverland.
At 2 hours and 15 minutes, they did not have enough time to spend 30 seconds setting up this gigantic prop that they built in the middle of this stupid pirate town.
Yeah, sure. You can think of it like that if you want.
Jesus. And then they just are like, yeah, they're just like, da 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 da. He puts the fat kid in charge. Nobody mentions dead Rufio, whatever.
Not
the pirates are done with because they just sort of gave up. And that's it. And then he just flies back home. And then we do a
doesn't really seem to care
thing.
about
It's
anything.
Really stupid.
Yeah. So great little movie. Great stuff.
Little movie?
Yeah, I mean, in my closing thoughts.
Close it up, Tony.
Would be, it's definitely not a perfect movie. But there are a lot of fun aspects. Visually, I think it's pretty great. Again, Huffman is incredible. He's on another level. And I think if you cut out 30 minutes and from the beginning, because it takes so long to even get to Neverland, which is the only place that anything interesting happens, then you have yourself a decent 90s flick, I think.
So if Steven wants to come and talk to us, we'll suggest some edits. We'll get the CGI going. We'll trim this baby up. We'll clean up the plot. We'll add some, we'll CGI in that alligator clock in the crocodile clock in the middle of town.
Easy peasy.
We'll do a musical Crocodile Rock where all the pirates dance around it.
I like that. That's nice.
Would this movie have been better as a musical?
I think the majority of movies would be better as musicals, but yeah, for sure.
So, I mean, do I hate this movie? No. Am I indifferent to this movie? Yes.
Yeah, probably. And I still have a real strong nostalgia pulling at the heartstrings,
Yeah. I mean, you saw Bangarang when you were a kid, and you guys yelled it at each other, and you guys thought you were really cool because you were yelling a movie line at each other.
I'll tell you right now, I've been saying it since then to my wife. So it'll probably stick around for a couple more days. What are you going to do?
It's so bad. So now's the point at which we talk about something we liked this week. I'm picking a thing. I think it's now. I don't even remember where I've been. I've been watching all these different streams, so I don't know. I think this is on either Netflix. I think it's on Netflix. It's called Giri GIRI /Haji, and it's a co-production between the BBC and some Tokyo thing, and so it's half London, half Tokyo, 8-part miniseries about like the Yakuza. You know what the Yakuza are?
Yeah.
And a lot of really, really interesting, just like this sort of mix of characters and how they sort of interact through this, where there's this Yakuza war about to occur. And
no, you don't want that.
It's pretty good. It's enjoyable.
Okay, cool. I'll have to check that out. Mine has an asterisk by it. I'll tell you that. Uh-oh. It's a Netflix show called The Big Show Show. The Big Show Show. It's about the Big Show, the wrestler, and it's a sitcom, a multicam sitcom about his family life after he retires. I watched the first episode and I was like, man, this show is trash. It's poorly written. It's poorly acted. The Big Show is one of the best actors in the show, which is insane because he can't act. But then
he could barely act as a wrestler. He was a very bad wrestling
I know, it's
actor.
ridiculous. But then I started to realize that was a choice by the creative team to make him the best one in the show, because it's his show. You don't want to surround him with people that are better than him. You want to surround him by people that make him look good. And by like episode 4 of this 8-episode run, I was genuinely having a good time, and I have no idea why. So I don't know why I liked it, but I did. I had a good time. I finished the run, and I'm bummed that it's not getting a second season.
Is this new?
Yeah, it came out earlier this year, early 2020, I think, and then they did a Christmas special, and that was last of it. It's not getting a second season. Netflix chopped it.
We gotta do that Turtles Easter special.
Yeah, we should do that because it's great.
So we're gonna finish out Hate Month, and then next month we're gonna do what are we doing? Video Game Month? Is that what?
Yeah, that's what you said. Don't take that back.
Video Game Month. So Tony's gonna lead us into Video Game Month next month. But for this last Hate Your Neighbor month, since we've had to go through all these weird things, I just wanted to pick something that might be a little fun, might actually have some funny lines, and be just sort of amusing to talk about. And that is the movie Kazam.
Oh, is that Shaq?
Shaq Diesel's Genie movie.
Okay.
I've never seen it. This is the movie that everybody sort of thinks that Sinbad was in, because everybody thinks that there was a Sinbad Genie movie, but there's only a Shaq Genie movie. So it's a movie that everybody remembers. I mean, who knows? This thing might be the thing. I think
it's going to be really good.
I think it's going to be very funny. I think it's going to be kind of a no holds barred, sort of enjoyable train wreck that, he's wearing the Rip-'em shirt. Yes,
that's right. That's right.
Shirt. So we're gonna do Kazam. I was gonna pick some really terrible things that would have tormented Tony, like 2.5-hour subtitled movies that Tony would have just.
I can't have another week like that, Dan. I need some time before we do something like that again. It was too hard.
So we're not doing that, but we're gonna have some fun with Shaq Diesel, because Shaq no matter what is funny, just because he's such a character. That is correct.
Yeah. So I'm excited. That should be fun.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good one. I think it's gonna go down as something we actually can enjoy. So if you like what you see and hear and enjoy I just lost all my words. If you like what we're doing here, leave us a comment. Leave us a thank you. Send us candy. Always send us candy.
Definitely send us candy. I like Snickers full size. Thank you.
Full size. Tony's a full size boy. As you can tell. Tony, you gonna turn into a ball and roll away at the end of the show?
I wish that I could. I can't even touch my toes anymore, man. It's not good.
Can't touch your toes?
I mean, I like that. I can. I mean, like, straight legged, bend over, touching my toes.
Yeah, well, you're an adult now.
Just like Robin Williams.
Tony, never grow up.
It's too late. I screwed up. I got to go back to Neverland and fix my mistakes. Let's do this.
Okay. Well, we'll see you next week.
Bye, everybody.
Hey, watch it!